Hey guys, so I'm going to talk about today how to get organized with your business and layered leadership as well. So the first thing I'm going to go over is how to get organized, okay? First of all, don't stress yourself out about getting organized with your business because that's just not money producing activities. But if you need some ideas to get organized, here's what I do, okay? First, I have a notebook, okay? So here's my leadership notebook. And what I do is I write down everybody's name in it, okay? So I have my excuses on my first page, okay? So on my first page, this is something I look at every single day. And on my first page, I have all of my excuses, okay? And then also my reasons why I do this, okay? Why I do this business. And I always have one reason why I do this business more than I have my excuses. So an example, say I have 5 excuses, I'm gonna have 6 reasons why I need to run this business because I'm always gonna have one more reason why versus my excuse, okay? So here's what I do is I write down everybody I talk to, and then I write down a date, okay? So this allows me to have people's name in front of me, and then I also write down the date that they decided that they want to join or order a product or anything like that. And then what I do is I follow up the day before that they say they're ready to order. And then here I go, I have several pages. So you down here, I have like several pages of people, okay? So, and this gives me an idea of who I need to follow up with at the same time, okay? So that's one tip of how I organize like leads. And then another way I organize posts and inspirational things is I have a notepad on my phone where every post that I love, I like, every inspirational thing, I save everything in my notes, okay? And I just put a title on it. If I could screen share on my phone, I totally would right now. But I just have a notes, okay? And then for my Instagram, I have like my most favorite hashtags and my most favorite post I do for Instagram, okay? And also on Instagram, I make everything with a white border. And so I use the app called Pick Tap Go, okay? And then to make my pictures, I use PixArt and WordSwag. Those are the 2 apps I use for my pictures. And I also use Repix, so REPIX or something like that, to make like little glittery things all over it. So that's one way that I get organized, okay? Also with my customers, every time I enroll a loyal customer, I write their name down in my book. And I have just like a page for customers. That way, at the first of the month, I can follow up with all those people. And how you can follow up with all those people is since you already have their name, you can go into your back office, you can find their name and just click the little email button beside them and you can just email them. Okay? Same with your declined orders and things like that. You can email them right from your A-Suite. Okay? So that's another way. So those are like kind of like my organization tips. It's pretty much all I do to be organized. And then another thing we're going to talk about is layered leadership. What should that look like? Okay, so layered leadership is going to look a lot different when you are double diamond and triple diamond presidential ambassador. Why? Because you're going to have a lot more leaders, a lot more people to take care of, okay? So what I did when I first started out is I had my own group chat, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't try to break away from your group chat until you're diamond or above, only because when I first started my group chats, it was a really hard time because people weren't very sociable in it. Everybody was new to the business type thing. And with you guys, when you're in a group chat with your diamond leader or above, or maybe your emerald, you have more activity in there because there's more people in there, more bonding happening and things like that. So if you do start a new group chat, just be aware that you're going to have to put a lot of work into it, okay? And it's not just something that will just flower on its own. I don't even know if that's the right word to use. But you have to put some work into it. For an example, I started a new group chat for just my personally enrolled, and it was slow at first, okay? But now these girls are starting to ask more questions and things like that. So what should layer leadership look like? Okay, so say I'm up here, okay, and then I just enrolled somebody and enrolled another person. Well, here's this person who stepped out and decided to be a leader, right? And now she's got like 5 people under her, right? So the 2 people that are direct to you, so like your personally enrolled people, will always be the people that you pour into. So even if I personally enroll somebody and move them under somebody else, I don't just toss them off to the other person and say, oh, now it's your job. No. I still personally work with that person, okay? I don't believe in enrolling a distributor, placing them somewhere else, and then never talking to them again, okay? So if I personally enrolled them, they will always be hearing from me, okay? Now, so what you want to do is you're going to pour into your leaders. For an example, I have a leaders chat. Anybody who is Ruby and above is in my leadership chat. I pour into them, give them knowledge, give them things they need to put out to their teams. We work together with ideas and tips and things like that to help successfully run our team. And we all work together, okay? We all put in our opinions and things like that, and ideas, and we work together. So, I pour into those leaders, and then they pour into their leaders, and then those leaders pour into their leaders, and it just kind of creates that layered leadership, okay? So what you want to do is work with your personally enrolled, right? And then they'll start turning into leaders. So the more you pour into them, then the more they can pour into their team and start duplicating that. And that's kind of what layered leadership should look like. Because you don't want to get to ambassador and then you're doing all the work for all these people, or even presidential and triple, you're doing all the work for all these people. Well, where's your time and freedom come in that? It doesn't. So that's why layered leadership is very, very important. Okay, that's why you pour into your personally enrolled, and then you pour into your leaders who are Ruby and above. I say Ruby and above because Rubies build your business, right? Rubies are the foundation of every single rank in this company. So I feel like it starts with Rubies, that you pour into them. Once they go Ruby, they're into my leadership chat. And that's where I get to personally, pour into people. And we get to work together. So that's kind of how layered leadership should work, okay? For an example, I pour into Amanda. I pour into Chelsea. Those are 2 leaders on my team, right? I pour into Juby. Those are leaders on my team that I've personally enrolled, right? So for an example, now they're going to go and take what I taught them, take away or put in what they feel, that would help their business be successful, and then they would duplicate it. So here's something to remember is that we are all leaders. Once we get one distributor underneath of us, we are all leaders, okay? And every leader is going to run their business differently. And that's okay. That's perfectly okay. I want all my leaders to be spreading like eagles, but making smart business decisions, okay? So, you want to duplicate what's successful, and you want to duplicate what other successful people do. But that does not mean it has to look like exactly what sorry, my hair looks crazy. That does not mean it has to look exactly what they do, right? You want to be able to put your own personal touches in there. You want to spread it out and be a leader and put your own personal twist into it, So don't be afraid to do that either. So that's kind of like what layered leadership means. And what a leader means is that, 1, you're pouring into your team. You are making smart business decisions. You are learning from other successful people and duplicating that, putting your own twist on it if needed. You are making sure you're leading by the front. And what I mean by leading from the front is less talk, more action is my biggest thing, okay? So the more you show your team that you are working by enrolling distributors, enrolling customers, your team will follow your lead and get that fire and energy back into them. But if you're not enrolling customers, you're not enrolling distributors, then one, you're not adding value to yourself for them wanting to follow your lead and learn from you. Two, you're hurting your team by not putting that energy out there. Okay? So who would you rather follow? Would you rather follow somebody who doesn't work their business, doesn't enroll loyal customers or distributors, doesn't pour into their team? Or would you follow somebody who pours into their team constantly, is constantly enrolling distributors and loyal customers and leading the way? Right? So that's always been my biggest thing is as a leader, you need to lead with action. Zoom trainings are great, but you have to have time to work your business too. So I do the 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 rule. 1/3 on my business, 1/3 on myself, 1/3 on my team. Okay? Because I can't be spending all day in group chats and talking to my team all day where I wouldn't get no work done, right? So, and I wouldn't have no time for myself either. So you want to make sure you start implementing that too. And all my team knows that, listen, if I don't get to your message right away, I will get to your message. Okay? And another thing to think about is, you know, when you do have a really huge team underneath of you, you want to make sure you're pouring into the people who actually take their business seriously. Because you do not, your time is valuable, and you really need to realize that. Your time is very valuable. So you don't want to be pouring into people who just don't take their business seriously. And you have to talk to them over and over and over again about the same thing, right? You want to pour into the people who are going to take what you say, implement what they see fit, and run with their business, right? Okay. So that's kind of like what it is to be a leader, is to just pour into your team, love on your team. I feel like inspiration, when you're inspiring your team, you're able to keep more of your team around. And inspiring means just pouring out love to them, loving on them, and leading with action by running your own business. Okay? So that's a little bit about layered leadership, being a leader, and how I get organized.